Suspect, see a helicopter.
Just like I say, that intro clip was by Shy Cold Chris. If you guys want to be featured in an intro clip, send a video uploaded to YouTube of a clip that you guys have. Just send it to the email down below in the description. You guys could have a chance to be featured in an intro clip. Hey guys, it's Shane here from LazerGamingDaMLG. This video, I want to talk about 5 crazy weapons that we could see in Battlefield 5. A lot of these are crazy Nazi weapons, so we also have some cool British ones, and then just some awesome weapons that you wouldn't really think would be in this game, but they could either come in the base game or as DLC. Some of them are more far-fetched and more out there and were barely used in the war, maybe by a couple people towards the end, but they were still in the war and they were still technology developed for the war, so I thought I'd talk about them in this video, guys. I could do more of these in the future, so if you want more of these, don't forget to drop a like down below and comment if you are new here. I'm also doing a Battlefield 5 giveaway in August, so you guys can get early access to the beta, so don't just stay tuned for that. And since I've been watching some of this Battlefield 5 footage, I've actually really missed this game. I only got to play the alpha for 6 or 7 hours, but I just cannot wait for the beta. This game is just so awesome, and yeah. So the only reason why I'm not live streaming today too is I usually live stream around this time. It's just because I'm going to a baseball game, and yeah, so that's why we have a normal video out today for the first time in a while. But number 1 on the list that we're going to talk about is the Vampire sort of modification for weapons. So this is basically a thermal scope in World War II. It was designed by the Germans and it was going to be implemented towards the end of the war, but we didn't really see too much time during the war. However, it would be mounted on the STG and it would actually enable night vision sight. So the soldiers would be able to see at night, and it would make just seeing in dark places a lot easier, and this is a crazy advancement in technology during the time. Now, it's not like thermal scopes today that pretty much are contained within the scope, or at least within a sort of big device on your head. This actually had to have a full backpack with power, and you can see in the pictures right here, it's sort of big and clunky and not too practical. But if you're just using it to sort of scout and maybe take 1 or 2 shots, it could be pretty cool. And I think this might come in like a final DLC that's like weird weapons of World War II. I don't think we'd see this at the beginning of the game, but DICE usually brings in sort of the crazy stuff, like for example the Burton LMR, towards the end of the game's life cycle, so we could see this towards the end of the game's life cycle. And the same can be said for this next weapon, the Krumlov. This was a curved barrel, and it actually worked. I watched a video of an American like Weapon Society who tested it, and this weapon actually worked. It reduced the muzzle velocity significantly of the bullets, and it actually even broke some of them sometimes. But when it broke the bullets, it would give them like a shotgun effect, and this weapon was really only meant to be used in close quarters. Now, it wouldn't be practical for everyone in your squad to use it, because you can't really attach and reattach the barrel. But the barrel itself actually has a sight on it where you can see exactly where it would be shooting, because it's sort of like a mirror that angles it at 30 degrees. And this could be useful if like you're at the top of a hill, but you don't really want to peek over. You just put this gun over and shoot it down. Again, this would probably come into the game at the end of the game, if anything. It would be kind of hard to implement into a video game just because it would get confusing looking through that sight and then having it aim somewhere else. But we could still see it in some fashion in the game, just sort of for fun. DICE, again, tends to bring some fun stuff in towards the end of the game's life cycle. One concern would be, though, is it might be pretty overpowered if you can attach and reattach the barrel, which I'm assuming they would let you do. But maybe you could have it as like a gadget slot, so that it doesn't necessarily, so that like you can't use it without sacrificing something. So like the assault class could have it as a gadget, then they'd have to sacrifice dynamite or something to be able to take this. Number 3 is the Delisle carbine, or the Delisle carbine. This was developed by the United Kingdom, and this is actually in Call of Duty World War II. It came as DLC. I might try to get some gameplay of this in Call of Duty World War II for you guys right here. It is DLC, so I'm not sure if I like have enough credits to buy it. But this weapon was pretty much a completely silent sniper rifle. It's pretty cool. just sort of to have that, especially in World War II. That was not very common to have that. Only 129 were developed, and it didn't really see any time in war until 1943, but it was a pretty cool weapon, even though it only fired about 250 meters per second. So this would be sort of an up-close sniper rifle, just meant for taking out targets sneakily. In Battlefield 5, I hope they would really make it like completely silent. That would be really awesome. And this weapon is pretty likely to come into the game. We might even see this in the base game, which would be pretty cool. Number 4 is the Doodlebug. This goes in the topic with the first two, where this would probably come in the end of the game. This is pretty much a remote-controlled car that the Nazis made, and it sort of just carried explosives. It's pretty much like the first version of like an RC car, except it goes extremely slow. It travels at like 5 miles per hour. But if you're trying to take out an enemy bunker or something like that, you could use this and it would be pretty cool. I feel like if DICE implemented this into the game, again, it would come towards the end of the game's life cycle, but they would also have to make it drive faster. It'd be very boring if you hopped into this and you just drive slowly 5 miles per hour towards a bunker or something to blow up, or an objective. They would probably have to make this go faster just to keep the pace of the game up. I feel like this could come in as a squad reinforcement, similar to the V1 rocket and the Sturm Tiger tank. I think that's the other one. That's a squad reinforcement in this game. But yeah, this one looks pretty cool. Again, German technology, but it is a bit far-fetched, so you most likely won't see it in the base game, but it could easily come as DLC. And lastly, this one we could definitely see in the base game. It's the Gustav cannon. So this was a railgun capable of massive damage. This was actually used relatively frequently in the war. Only 2 were built because the Allies figured out how to destroy them pretty easily because of how massive they were. It was about 155 feet long, and the barrel itself was 100 feet long. This was used in 1942 in June. It was used in multiple battles. For example, in Fort Stalin and stuff like that, it was fired at that. And Fort Siberia, it knocked stuff out as well. And this just had massive range on it, and it was just super cool. And this could be really awesome as a squad reinforcement. The explosives themselves weighed 7,100 kilograms or 15,000 pounds. And they were 11 feet long. So this fired an 11-foot long shell. Just picture how massive that is. Just an 11-foot long shell going at hundreds of feet per second, or 820 meters per second, it says in this. So pretty much like 3,000 feet per second. Something like that was firing. It was just massive, and it could create a crater that was 30 feet wide and 30 feet deep. And yeah, it can pretty much penetrate 7 meters of concrete and stuff like that. And this is just a massively cool thing. I can just picture this in Battlefield 5 as a squad reinforcement, and you just hear a massive shot, and then it just whips in super fast, because the V1 rocket came in pretty slow, but this could just be like a massive flash and then just an explosion. It would be really awesome, and I'd love to see this in the game. I definitely think we could see this as a squad reinforcement, as it was actually used in the war, and it's just something that Battlefield usually takes these kind of things and puts them into the game. And I think it would be pretty cool to have this in a World War II game. And just a little side note is this was actually a map in Call of Duty World War II. There's probably the most hated map in the game, but there was a map called Gustav Cannon, where it was pretty much just this massive railgun was in the middle of the map, and then the rest just had some houses around the side. It was a pretty bad map, but it still was in the game, just to show that other World War II games have used this in it. Maybe not in like a weapon or tactical sense, but they did use it, and it looked pretty awesome. Tell me what you guys think about this down below in the description. This is probably a longer video, and it took me a decent amount of time to work on this. If you guys want more of this, again, don't forget to tell me. Maybe tell me some other World War II videos you want. There isn't too much to talk about with Battlefield 5 right now, at least until we get beta news, or at least until the beta actually comes out. But I'm trying to post some videos for you guys, keep you entertained, because it is pretty fun to talk about this game. The reason why I like World War II a little bit more than Battlefield 1 is there was a lot more technological advances, and there's a lot more sort of cool things that the developers can put in that were just kind of limited in World War My next live stream will probably be tomorrow at around 1 p.m. Pacific time or 4 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget to stay tuned for that, guys. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.